Hello everybody and welcome to Testing with Chrono. Today we are going to be taking another look at the infamous Matter Fabricator, as there have been several questions that have cropped up since the last video that I put up on the subject. First off, we are going to take a look at a comment that's put in by Mammy24 saying, "It seems now that the Matter Fab will only use 8192 EU per tick, as in I have 30 ultimate hybrids hooked into mine, and the internal battery is constantly fully charged and only accepting 8192 EU per tick." Okay, well that's actually really easy to test. First thing we do is we just set up a nice quantum generator, since all we're testing is the power, not Mammy's specific setup, but just the power output itself right now, since that's the question. And we increase this to 8192, and then we compare it to, say, another setup with another Matter Fab, and this one will be set up like 30 ultimate hybrid solar panels. Now, an ultimate hybrid solar panel outputs 512 EU per tick, so multiply that by 30 and we get 15,360. That's a lot of power. So let's put this at the 15,360. So now we're at 15,360. And then all we need to do is set these guys up initially. Let's get a bunch of scrap in here. Woo, come on. Fill these guys up. And then we'll just basically power them up and see if we can notice a superficial difference, just a visual difference in how fast they run. Instead of setting up a system where I have them both turned off and then flick a switch and turn them both on simultaneously, let's just see if we can do a visual comparison right now. And if they're too close to call, then we'll compare them with timers and all the really fancy stuff. Boop, boop. Alright, they're both turned on. And we can see how this is going. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, and then this one, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah, I'd say this is almost twice as fast. Yeah, I would say that the Matter Fabs can support more power than 8192 EU per tick. Now, there is an added bonus that has been pointed out to me. Note the fact down here that it says max packet size 512. Now, if I pop this guy and replace it with a high voltage cable, because as we know, the glass fiber cable can only support 512 EU per tick, whereas HV cable can support up over 1024. Boop. Now if we crank this up to 8192 packet size, oh, we just blew up the cable. That's because the HV cable cannot support over 2048 EU per tick. So if we crank this up the whole way to 8192, and then we connect the Matter Fab directly to it, we will bypass the cable limitations. So here we go. We got 8192 output and 8192 EU packets. And then we don't pop it with that thing because GregTech's stuff doesn't work with the Omni wrench. We have to use the electric wrench or the just regular IC2 wrench. And we don't want to break a Matter Fabricator with a pickaxe because it will explode. So now we got the Matter Fabricator set up, and it's charging up pretty quick, obviously, but we need to put scrap in there, and we can see that it's running. And it's running about as fast as we would expect it to. About as fast as it was when it was just 512 EU per tick per packet. But if we crank the max packet size up by just 1, I mean, we can crank up the output easily enough. But if we crank up the max packet size just by 1, the Matter Fabricator explodes. So while the Matter Fabricator can support more than 8192 EU per tick, it cannot support more than 8192 EU packets. So that is something to be concerned with. So here we have a setup that is exactly the same on each side. Both quantum generators are outputting 8192 EU per tick at 512 packet size. Both are connected by glass fiber cabling. Both have outputs with the wooden pipes and the Arctic gates with set up to pulse when there's items in the inventory. And both have completely empty chests. The only difference is that this one is going to be powered by scrap, and this one is going to be powered by uranium dust. Now, the question here is, what does uranium dust do? There seems to be a little bit of confusion over it. I've heard that uranium dust makes things faster, and I've heard that it doesn't do anything whatsoever. And the most recent thing that I've heard is it doesn't make things faster, but it makes it last longer. Like uranium dust lasts significantly longer than scrap. So what I'm going to do is turn on the lever and then let the two just run. And leave them go until they both run out. And see which one runs out first, or if they both seem to run out at the same time. And then from there, we will compare how much UU matter we have between the two. So I'm beginning the test in 3, 2, 1, click. And we can see that we've used a significant amount of scrap already. And I don't think we've created any UU matter on this side yet, no. As for the uranium dust, it looks like we've only used one uranium dust, and it doesn't seem to be running any faster. No, 27%, 28%, 29%, no. The percentage seems to be going up at the same speed, and we also have not created any UU matter yet, so I shall leave these tests go for a little while and see what comes of them. And we're approaching the finish line on the scrap Matter Fabricator, and I'm going to get it as close as possible. Blink. Okay, now this is going to charge, but it won't use any scrap. The same with that one. It will charge, but it won't use any uranium dust. So, obviously we're out of scrap here, and yeah, we've kind of used 3 uranium dust, so I think that would qualify as the uranium dust lasts significantly longer than scrap. And as for how much UU matter is created, 15 over here, 15 over here, exactly the same. So what does this all mean? Well, it means that you can use scrap just as easily as you could use uranium dust, except the uranium dust will last significantly longer, but that's it. That's the only advantage that uranium dust adds to the situation. It does not make producing UU matter any faster, it does not make this thing charge any faster, nothing. It just lasts longer. Now, since scrap is so easy to make, your results may vary. Depending on what you have and what your setup is, you may want to go either way. But for the most part, uranium dust doesn't add anything except length of time. Now, in the last video, there was a little bit of controversy about a theory that I have about how the curve that the Matter Fabricator takes in its efficiency, where if you double the power, you halve the time, which if you keep doing that over and over and over again, you will get a curve if you graph it out, and you will eventually get to the point where doubling the power won't get you any noticeable increase in speed. Now, again, there has been a lot of controversy about that, so I want to test that again, and this setup should be able to do that. Basically, what I have is 5 quantum generators This one is set to 8192 EU per tick with a max packet size of 512 EU per tick. These 4 are all set identical. They are set to 1/4 of 8192, which is 2048 EU per tick at a max packet size of 512 EU. Well, like I said, all 4 of these are identical. Now, this is important. Everything else, variable-wise, will be identical. The Matter Fabricators are all full of uranium dust. They have 0% charged, no charge here, no UU matter at all. They are all identical. And I want to address something that might come up later. Now, I don't know if this was a joke in the last video, but somebody pointed out that the redstone wire that I used on one side of the test was longer than on the other side of the test. Well, redstone wire or red alloy wire, like I have here, is instantaneous. It's either there or it's not. It doesn't take time to pass down the line. Once I flick that lever, this entire thing is turned off. And we're not even talking fractions of a second here. It's off. And in front of this, where the pipes are coming out, makes no difference to the test whatsoever. I know that one is going straight into the chest, and these ones have pipes going into one chest. It doesn't make a difference because that's the output side, and we're not actually testing the output side. We're technically testing the input side to see its efficiency on how much power it uses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on, or well, technically turn off this redstone signal, which will activate all 5 quantum generators simultaneously, and let it run for, let's say, an hour. I don't have to be terribly specific on how long I let them run, just as long as when I'm done with the test, I flick this lever and turn off all of the generators simultaneously. That way, the test will be valid. So, here we go. So we're nearing our 1 hour mark, and it's about time we turn off all of the quantum generators. So let's turn them off. Boink. And we can see that the Matter Fabs are no longer functioning as their texture has changed. And we can see that the round thing indicating the power is obviously not on any of the 5. And we don't have anything left over in the UU matter. We obviously haven't used all of the uranium dust, which is perfect because, well, if we ran out of uranium dust, that side would get an unfair advantage over that side. So everything worked out perfectly. Now it's time to compare. In the massive power consumption chest, we have 38 UU matter, which is pretty good after 1 hour's worth of work. In the quarter consumption chest times 4, we have 36. Ooh. 38, 36. Oh, that is a close one. And it is close enough to be inside of the margin of error, considering this one has 15% charge and these ones have 53% charge. Combine them all together and we get 2 more UU matter. I'd have to say it's far too close to call, but it's well within the margin of error and close enough to say my chart was probably wrong. And I would have to say you guys were right. Double the power and you double the output. Quadruple the power, you quadruple the output. So, as the sun sets in the distance, I will say to you guys, see you in the next show, and as always, keep playing the game and have fun.